Hi, my name is Alex Carlucci with GustanCho.com. I'm going to talk to you today about the whole process from pre-approval to submission to conditional approval to satisfying conditions and the CTC and then the closing. So let's talk about the pre-approval. You're going to call me and I'm going to ask you some questions. We're going to ask you what your income is. I'm going to determine how you get paid. If you're 1099, W-2'd, whatever we determine, we'll calculate your income without analyzing or seeing your actual pay stubs or tax returns. And then I'll ask you what your credit is, and I'll trust what you tell me, and I'll ask you what your monthly debts are. If we pass that test, and I say, okay, that sounds like we got a deal, let's go a little bit further. I'll ask to run your credit, and I'll ask you to send me your income docs, and I'll make sure that what you said is true. Not that it's true, but sometimes borrowers don't understand the rules of mortgages and how they calculate income. So I'm not saying I don't trust you. I'm just trying to make sure that we're going to read it the same way as you believe that your income is. If your income's good and I run your credit and your credit's good and your debts are good and you qualify, and I'll write you a pre-approval for your loan. So I have your credit, I have your income docs, I can put you in the system, I can run it through a desktop underwriter, and I can give you a really strong pre-approval. Doesn't mean that we're in the clear, because underwriters have ways of doing things to files and making it a little complicated. So, but if I got it approved eligible, I've seen your income, I've got your work history, it's a really good chance we're going to close if I've seen all that. So now you go buy a house, and then we get the contract, and now we disclose you a loan. So you're going to e-sign all these papers, and you're going to send us some other documents you have to sign, and now we're going to submit that to an underwriting. The underwriting process it goes to our investors or to our underwriter here in the house, and you get in line with other people that have submitted loans. So you have to wait a couple days. It's not it's not like ordering a cheeseburger. You're going to get an answer right away. You have to wait. The busier it is, the longer it takes, 2-4 days, and you never know how long it's going to take. The underwriter's going to go through your file. They're going to do background checks. They're going to go through a fine-tooth comb with your bank statements. They're going to really analyze your income a lot more stricter than I did. They're going to really get into it and just make sure everything makes sense. And they catch things that the average mortgage broker can't catch. They're trained to see a little bit more than us. So they're going to go through the bank statements and all that for the fine-tooth comb, and they're going to come up with what's called conditional approval. That means that you have more conditions to satisfy. So I've asked you for your W-2s, pay stubs, bank statements, ID, and insurance, whatever in the beginning. Now they're going to ask for more things on top of that, depending what they determine what they look at. Now, if you got 800 credit scores and you got $500,000 in the bank and you're putting 20% down on a $200,000 house, and you've been at the same W-2 job for the last 5 years, they're going to have really small conditions. It'll probably just be appraisal, title, and insurance, and then we're done. Unlock the loan. If you're a little more dicey, if like a 580 credit score, 600 credit score, and you're doing a manual underwrite, and you got a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and you got some lates and collections, they're going to want a lot more. They're going to want you to write letters on your lates. Why were you late? They're going to want to see the trustee approval on your Chapter 13 bankruptcy, allowing you to buy a house. They're going to want to see your bankruptcy papers. They're going to want a whole lot of other stuff, and they're going to probably analyze your bank statements a lot harder because you might not have a lot of money in there. They might start backing out cash deposits. It's a lot more tedious. You could get a condition, with 20 things on it I'm going to ask you for. So I don't want you guys to panic. We're just really paper pushing. If you get an approval with a lot of conditions, and if I read those conditions to you and I don't see a deal breaker, I tell you, hey, I feel good. We're just pushing paper now. And when I ask you for all this stuff, don't panic, because we're just giving the underwriter the paperwork that she has to put into this file. So the next person who looks at this file wants to buy it in the open market, because loans are bought and sold. Then it has to be a perfectly packaged file, so the next person can open it up like a book and they can read it and say, okay, this is good, we'll buy this loan. So that's what the conditional approval is for, is to make this thing sellable to the next lender. We could actually submit all those conditions that she asked for, and they could ask for another condition because it's not perfect. So you might go through a few rounds of conditions. The cleaner the file, the better your credit, the more money you have, the less conditions you're going to have. The worse credit you have, the worse situation you're in, the more conditions, the more rounds you're going to have. Let's say we satisfy all those conditions from the underwriter. The appraisal comes back clean, the title comes back good, we got your insurance, then you get issued a clear to close when all those things are satisfied. That whole process takes 30 days. It's not 1 day, 2 day, done. It's a long process, and it's tedious, and you guys have to be patient. But once we get that CTC, then we start scheduling the closing. Everybody's happy. When someone says CTCD, that means clear to close, and you're really happy. Everybody jumping for joy. We schedule the closing. You go to the closing table with the sellers or the seller's attorney or the realtors, and you guys all sign the paperwork together. Sometimes they do it in separate rooms. Sometimes the seller signs the package before, and you don't meet the seller at all. It's just you and the realtor, sometimes in the title company. But you go to the title company, you sign the paperwork, you hand over your check, and then you're done, you move into your house. And that's the process of from pre-approval to closing. I hope you like that. Please like this video. Please subscribe to GustanCho.com, to our video site. It helps us help you guys. So please do that. And I hope you give me a call, and give me a call anytime at 630-915-7550. Love answering questions. Or go to GustanCho.com, GUSTANCHO.com, and you read all our blogs about a lot of things on our website. And thank you very much.